I know you're itching for it. Let's push on. Everton.
Who wants to go first? Stevie
Everton,
or me? I don't mind. Stevie, you want to go, or what? Who's going to go first on Arsenal here?
I'll go. I'm going to be nicer than you.
Are you? All right. Everton 2-1 winners. What's nice to say about Arsenal after that, Stevie?
Well, I think there's no question. They went out and had a bit of spirit about them. You know, they're on a horrible run. They didn't start the game particularly brilliant, but they picked up and put some pressure on Everton at the end.
Craig, you want to call him Arsenal TV now?
He's getting paid. He's getting paid off Arsenal TV as well.
I'm not finished.
Oh my God!
What the point here is that this is kind of where we're judging Arsenal now. Mm-hmm. You know, we have to stop judging Arsenal of the Invincibles and all this fantastic football and dominating teams and scoring lots of goals. We keep judging them on those sides. They're miles away from that. So when they turn up away from home at Everton and lose narrowly 2-1, it's, well, you know what? This is what Arsenal are. So we shouldn't judge them on a team 10 years ago that were just brilliant.
Craig?
Yeah, well, you know, to echo that, it was to be expected. So it's not a surprise. They listen. The way I would frame it is they were good for a minute around the 94th minute when they were desperate and the referee was about to blow the whistle and they fizzed a few balls across.
Me to say
that.
Yeah,
that's one way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. They were. I would say they were good for a minute in desperation. The rest of the game they were poor. I mean, you might look at it and say, well, in the second half Arsenal got better. I wouldn't look at it that way because I tell you why. Everton under Ancelotti have been renowned for dropping off. And just, even at home, they'll drop off. And they'll try and soak it up. They did it to Chelsea. They'll do it to others. And then they'll try and hit with Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin and the pace and physicality. So I don't think it was Arsenal come out in the second half and played a little bit better and, you know, did this. I just think that's Everton. Everton don't look to dominate games, particularly when they're in the lead. They'll drop off. They'll get men behind the ball because they know Calvert-Lewin will use his pace to run in behind. And, you know, as Stevie said, look, you know, we shouldn't get too angry with Arsenal, but maybe we should, because we should expect more from this club, from this hierarchy, from this ownership. And we should expect better from these players that are not anywhere near good enough to be challenging, but are surely good enough to be 15th. They could be 16th tomorrow if Brighton beat Sheffield United in the early game. 16th. Now, they're good enough, more than good enough to be better than where they are. So that's enough reason to give them criticism. But they're a million miles off being back to where this club needs to be. It is a total mess. And listen, it's not all Arteta's fault, but the buck will stop with him because this can't continue. He's probably got another 3 or 4 games. And if they lose the next 3 or 4, what are Arsenal going to do? Because by that time, they'll be teetering on the bottom 3. And that's not...
Is it going to make any difference, Craig?
Eh?
Do you think it would make any difference if they sacked Arteta? I'm not so sure it would make any difference. I mean, he got a tune out of them at the end of last year. They won the FA Cup. But just generally across the board, the players aren't good enough. I'm not so sure that another manager is going to make a huge difference with this lot.
No, and I agree, but I think, you know, the board will come under... Somebody's going to come under pressure if it continues. And you know yourself, I know there's no crowds, or there's little crowds at games, but executives and chief execs and sporting directors, they don't like it when fans wait outside and turn on them. And they usually find a scapegoat. And they won't want to take the blame themselves. And that as you well know, Stevie, from being in that job, the scapegoat always is the manager. And that's the problem. If we're 4, 5, 6 more games into, you know, more defeats and that could happen. These people at the top will look for scapegoats, right? And unfortunately, that will be and always is the manager. So he's going to have to find a way to stop this rot.
Stevie, real quick, a word on Everton. This is a team that got off to a flying start this season, then kind of regressed to the mean. You thought, okay, this is the real Everton. The last couple of weeks, man, they've been really, really good.
Do you know, under Ancelotti, they've got a real strength to them. You know, previously they'd have little flurries where they'd be really good. You think they were coming out of funk or coming out of their averageness, shall we say. And then they would go back into it. But, I mean, this team was missing 4 of the better players. You know, you've got 2 centre-backs who were playing full-backs today. You've got no James and no Allen. I mean, Allen and James are by far 2 of their better players. And, of course, when you've got centre-backs playing full-back, usually you're holding your breath whenever somebody's going at them. So, listen, they've got a real strength about them and a real good shape and a real good spirit. And, you know, if they have as much money behind them as we think they have, then if they can build on what they're doing now with you know, better players and bigger signings, then they're only going to climb up the table where they will be challenging, certainly for the top 4.
Craig, they're second place right now as we go to tape. Are they title contenders or are they top 4 contenders?
No, if they could get into the top 4, it would be an unbelievable season for them. It would be a great start. It would be a perfect platform for them to build and go and potentially spend some more money. I mean, I never thought they would get Ancelotti in as manager, but he's taken that role. I'm sure he's not on a small salary. I didn't think they would be able to entice the likes of Allen and James Rodriguez. They have. So that tells you that Ancelotti and the club have got a little bit of pulling power to get better players in there. They're willing to spend. They're willing to go out and try and entice that kind of player. And if you can get around that 4th spot or whatever it is in some Champions League football, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. And that's going to be their battle. You know, they're not going to dominate games. We know that. But they're big and they're strong and they're organised. And as Stevie said, they had at least 4 of their players out today. So things are looking good for them. But it's not going to be a title challenge. But a push for the top 4 is certainly on the cards at this moment in time.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.